when I have addition or subtraction of fractions, I go ahead and if I have more than two fractions, I write them vertically so that I can work with them. So the 3/4 like this, a positive 1/2. Now when you have a negative in front of parentheses, that doesn't mean minus, it means opposite. So the opposite of negative 5/8 is a positive 5/8. So as you can see in our operations here, we don't have any negatives at all. There's no subtraction going on at all. So our final answer we know is going to be positive. Now let's go ahead and work with those. I want to get common denominators for each one. I start with the biggest number, 8, and I ask myself, do the other two go into that? Well, you can do 8 divided by 4, that works. And you can do 8 divided by 2, that works. So if the answer is yes to both of those, then that largest number is your common denominator. Now I want to divide. 8 divided by 4 is 2. In other words, 4 times 2 is 8. So if you do that in the denominator, you have to do it in the numerator. 3 times 2 is 6. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So if you put a 4 in the denominator, put it in the numerator. 1 times 4 is 4. And then this one already has an 8 in the denominator, so you don't have to do anything to that. So once you have common denominators, you keep the denominator and you add the numerators. Okay, so 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 plus 5 is 15. 15 over 8, and let's look at the directions to see how they want our answer. Write as a fraction in simplest form. So we can leave it as an improper fraction as long as it's in simplest form. So we do not have to change this back into a mixed number. So 15 over 8 is the answer for this one. Okay, this next one I have 7 over 20. I have a negative in front of the parentheses, so that means the opposite. The opposite of negative 1/2 is a positive 1/2. And then I have a positive 3/10. Okay, the largest number is 20 in the denominator. 20 divided by 2, yes, that works. And 20 divided by 10 works. That means 20 is my common denominator. That's the denominator that I want. Okay, well, the first fraction already has 20, so just write down the numerator and it stays like it is. The next fraction, 20 divided by 2 is 10, so you've got to multiply the top and bottom by 10. 1 times 10 is 10. And the next one, 20 divided by 10 is 2, so multiply by 2. 3 times 2 is 6. You keep your common denominator in your answer, and these were all positive, so we're just going to add them all up. So 7 plus 10 is 17. 17 plus 6 is 23. So the answer is 23 over 20, and we do not have to change it to a mixed number. You can leave it like it is. Okay, so this is 5 over 6. This is negative 3 over 4. A negative is the same as subtracting. We'll talk about that in a moment. And this, again, a negative in front of the parentheses actually means opposite. So the opposite of negative 5 over 24 is positive 5 over 24. I want to get common denominators. The largest number is 24. 24 divided by 6 does work, and 24 divided by 4 does work. So 24 is going to be my common denominator. Okay, 24 divided by 6 is 4. So multiply the top by 4. 5 times 4 is 20. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So multiply the top by 6. Negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. Because there's only one negative there, so there's nothing with it to cancel it out. It takes 2 negatives to cancel out when you're multiplying. This denominator is already 24, so you leave the numerator alone. So the common denominator was 24, and then I'm going to do what the numerators say to do. So 20 take away 18 is 2. and 2 and a 5, those are positive. 2 plus 5 is 7. So 7/24 is the answer.